Hi, welcome to SCRC's Caring for the Caregiver workshop. Today, we are going to be talking about mobility issues and how to help your care receiver. If you are a caregiver or if you know a caregiver who would benefit from the information that we're going to be sharing, feel free to share with them. Maybe afterwards, send them the link. And that way they could also benefit from this very valuable information that we're going to be talking to you all about. My name is Marta Rañón. I'm the Executive Vice President of Southern Caregiver Resource Center. And if you have never heard of our organization, I am so glad that you are here and we welcome you, because if you are connecting to us, it's probably because you are a caregiver. And a caregiver is someone who is caring for the well-being of another individual. Specifically, if you need assistance, we are here to help. All of our services are free. And I invite all of you to visit scrc.care. And that is our website. You can find out all of our information, all of our services, all of our programs, free of charge to family caregivers here in San Diego County. Now, if any of you are also joining us from afar, maybe other areas in California, you also can access our information through another website that is caregivercalifornia.org. And this is also a way that you can access caregiver services throughout California and help your situation, help your friends, help your family. At this time, I'd like to just give a little shout out to my team who is behind the scenes. They are the ones that have been putting this together and are going to be assisting me with some of the questions that you might be having as we go through this workshop together. I encourage you to write your questions or send them in and try to get them answered as much as we can. I know we only have about an hour, but at this time, I also like to introduce our guest, and this is someone from Erin Home Care. Erin Laney actually is a wonderful person that we've been working with for a long time, and we are so happy to have been collaborating with him throughout the years. He really has the heart and the experience of what it is to support a family caregiver. He began his career managing group homes for adults with disabilities in the Virginia and Washington, D.C. area. He built his reputation for being compassionate with his clients and efficient and effective in all his operations. Erin now uses his experience to provide San Diego seniors with dependable caregivers through Erin Home Care. For many seniors, living and aging in their own homes is definitely what they request and a key to their maintaining their dignity and quality of life, and of course, an overall sense of well-being. That's why it is Erin's mission to help seniors live at home, stay at home safely and comfortably. His services include personal care, transportation, light housekeeping, companionship. Erin Home Care also delivers all of this non-medical care and attention to keep seniors home and comfortable throughout San Diego County. So we are so happy that he is here with us. And I know if you have seen or attended our workshops in the past, it's very hands-on. So of course, grab a piece of paper, something to write with, because you might be wanting to take notes. And hopefully this is a tool for you as you continue through your caregiving journey. So Erin, welcome so much, and we're happy to have you here.
Much. Thank you for having me here. So this is our first go at doing it virtually. Usually we do this in hands, but in person. This is the Mobility Assistance and Safety Tools for Caregivers presented by me, Erin Laney, and again, I am owner of Erin Home Care. Next. We are professional caregivers with a personal touch. Next. So what we'll be covering. We're going to be covering basic body mechanics and assistive devices and how to use them. So the big thing about the basic body mechanics and what I want to stress is it starts with you. So much focus is is placed on the care receiver, which is important, but there's just not enough focus on the caregiver, which is you. And if they are depending on you to move, number one, it is important to keep your body as strong and injury free as possible. So self-care is key. We've all seen this in the airplane. Put on your own oxygen mask first, and it definitely applies in this situation. Again, really, really depending on you as the caregiver to be 100%. So sleep, hydration, balance exercises. If you're going to be the core of support, the more balanced you are, the better. Stretch so you're not pulling any muscles. Physical therapy for both parties if needed. What I like about the physical therapy is also it's a way to do something together with your partner. Often when you become into the caregiver, care receiver role, your relationship, a lot of times it's husband and wife or son and daughter, your relationship changes. And the more you can do together is good. And so that's something it's going to benefit you if you sit down and do the physical therapy with them. um, it can be good for both parties. Just don't neglect your own physical health, which is very common. You have to take care of yourself first. So, what is basic body mechanics? Body mechanics is how you move your body. It's moving your body correctly, controlling and balancing your body, and making the best use of one's strength to prevent injury. So, we want to set you up for success and talk about the physics of your own body when you're helping transfer someone. Next. So 9 things to remember about body mechanics. Foot position. So your feet are the base of support. That's where it starts. So you want to wear shoes, tennis shoes, something that's going to keep you solid on the ground, as well as you want the care receiver to wear shoes. They're going to have better stability. I see it all the time, people trying to lift them with socks on and you slide around. Really make sure both parties are wearing shoes. Or tennis shoes that won't slip. No slippers. You want to set yourself up again for success. Place your feet shoulder width apart and 1.5 step ahead of each other for balance. And go ahead and move back and forth. You should be able to shift your weight on the feet. That means you have a good base of support when you're able to shift your weight back and forth. Next. To maintain the normal lumbar curve at all times. So back, I'm sure when everyone thinks about getting hurt while lifting and transferring, we all know it's your back. Your back is most sensitive. So I really highly encourage you to use a back brace. It's not just, oh, I haven't injured myself, I don't need a back brace. A lot of it is also good memory. You don't usually use it, so you will feel it when it's on you, and you'll be more conscious of not hurting your back or not twisting your back. It really can do wonders in support, but also just in keeping it top of mind for you to be careful of your back. Contract your ab muscles, your abdominal muscles. So your abdominal muscles are going to push against, when you really deeply contract them, they will push up against your back and help create support. That's something a lot of people don't do. But really, your core is extremely important in providing that support to your back. Next. And then you want to get as close as possible to the person you are lifting. So you want to, it's really physics. Think about every inch as 10 pounds. That's something I try to change. I mean, I made that up. It's not technical, but really, if you hold something out far away from you, a cup, your arm gets tired. You can practice of how close you feel it. So the closer you are, and that's good if you're a family member. Sometimes it's a little harder if it's the first time you met someone, but you really want to build that trust. Let them know you're going to get in as closest to their space as possible, and that's going to help. It's going to take a lot of the weight off you and shift you and make you as much one as possible. So when I lift people from a wheelchair to chair, if they need the full support, I have even more in that picture. I say, just hug me. Just put a big hug. Let's hug each other and we'll move together. And which leads to the next is communicate with the care recipient. They often, it's amazing how many times you don't talk and say 1, 2, 3, or they may need to rock. Rocking gives some momentum, or just include them as part of the conversation. This is not just a doll. You're okay, let me push it up and go. The more they can do, the better. And the more control you can give someone, so that even you tell me when you're ready. That's just going to help also overall psychologically. Is nobody wants to be a patient, so you want to give them as much control, as much decision making as possible. So really say, let me know when you're ready. There's no rush. You can do one step, getting close to the edge of the care, and then take a rest. That's another big mistake, is people just rushing through it. So communicate and do it on their time. Okay, next. Big, use your legs. I'm sure everyone knows it, but you just have to reiterate it over and over and over and over again. It's the most important part. Use your legs and bend down. Do not use your back. Again, why I suggest the back brace, so you remember. It's a bad habit we all do for small things, but this, you do not want to hurt your back. And use your feet. Do not twist. If you pick someone up from the chair or from the bed and then want to put them into a wheelchair, make sure they are using their feet also. You use your feet, they use your feet. Shuffle around. Don't just twist. You pull out your back. It happens a lot. And again, that's often when people are in a rush. They just want to get it done as quick as possible. But if they're very close to you and you're using proper body mechanics, you should be able to slowly shuffle your feet and take your time and do it. So, next. And then the final is just never lift more than you can comfortably handle. So when is it time for additional equipment? Next. Before you get hurt. And this is huge. This is probably one of the biggest reasons people get hurt, is they don't speak up. You keep wanting to do the right thing, you want to help, but there is a point, even us as professional caregivers, that we have to say, no, we need equipment. This is too much. You cannot lift every single person without equipment, from a wheelchair to a chair to a bed. And the care recipient will often say, oh, I don't need that. I don't need that equipment. I don't need that equipment. Remember, the equipment, I would say 9 times out of 10, is for the caregiver, not the care recipient. So you need to speak up. You need to say, hey, I know my limit. This is more than I can handle. We need to look into something else. And often I find families don't know what else is out there. So you just keep doing it because you don't know. So I'm hoping with this that you can kind of look into the future and educate yourself on the tools, the equipments that are out there. So when it does come time, you will feel more empowered to speak up, because you know there is an answer. There is something out there that can help you. So that was the body mechanics for the caregiver. It also helps if you use proper body mechanics for the care recipient. And a lot of people, when they fall, come home, or coming back from the skilled nursing facility, need to be retaught how to properly get up from a chair. It's good if you start this now, and even muscle memory for all of us, that this is the proper way that the care recipient is going to get off the chair so you can best help them. So first, you need to scoot to the front of the chair. So your bottom should be at the edge of the chair. A lot of people will sit back like in the first picture, but you really need to scoot yourself forward. Make sure they scoot forward, so your bottom is not sunk in the chair. A lot of people, we'll talk a little later about the chair also. A lot of people have very low chairs, and also their favorite chair that they have sat in for the past 10, 20 years, and it's basically a bucket. I would not recommend trying to help someone out of that. You don't want to be pulling someone out of that. You want to find a good chair with arms and that they're not stuck in the bucket part. So get to the front of the chair. Next. And your hips should sit higher than the knees. Again, why you don't want a bucket chair. You really want to be on the edge where that's going to give you the best gravity, is having your hips above your knees and your feet, bend your knees so your feet are underneath them. You can even touch your heels against the edge of the chair. It's okay. It will help. A lot of people, that's a big struggle you'll see. It's very natural to have your feet out in front of your knees for someone that's sitting and relaxing. This is really key and will help a lot. These are little points, but the amount they help is tremendous. Next. All right, so this is where you're going to use the arms of the chair. A chair with arms is 100% better than pushing it on here. You're going to place your trunk forward. So do your ab exercises. Make sure you're placing your trunk forward. It's that forward momentum that you really need. And push up with your hands. Next. And then push your hip forwards. And take a minute to breathe. A lot of people, once they've fallen, they're very, very nervous to get up. So all of that can be very stressful. The person's shaking. So before you get them on their walker and say, go to the next place with their walker, just take a minute and breathe. So now we're going to get into equipment and how to use it. So lifting and transferring. So we call lifting and transferring, or we categorize lifting and transferring minimal, medium, max assist. So you're starting out with your husband, with your brother or sibling, and it is, or father, and it is probably minimal, and you'll slowly go. So we start with minimal to medium assistance. Really, gait belt's the number one thing you should use, and then the chair. I'll get into I've talked about the chair, but then the lift chair. Next. So a gait belt is something, and we'll go into it in a video. I usually demonstrate this, but it will help someone from falling. It gives you a handle, and it allows you to stabilize a care recipient from losing their balance. This is the most common one. You place it over their clothes, and it really is like a belt, so you can kind of hold on to them. But I really like the one with, and I've put it on the website, that's the next one, I think. Is it the next slide? Yes, this one. It's more lifting transferring belt, but I would use this for the beginning because it really fits you more snug and it has the handles. Next. Okay, here's the demonstration. Go. Hi, my name is Aaron. I'm with Aaron Home Care, and today we're going to be talking about how to properly use a gait belt. First, we're going to demonstrate how to properly put it on. You're going to put it on the narrowest point of the body. You're going to keep these teeth are on the outside. And you want to put it like a belt that is not going to, if you hold on to it, is not going to go up to her armpits. You want it snug, but obviously not too tight that it hurts, but you want it snug. And if it's too long, you can always then just tuck it in the back. And you want to make sure you have, you can put your fingers in, a couple fingers in, but that it's not going to pull up if you use it all the way to her armpits. And that's the proper way to put on a gait belt. Next, watch how to use one. Hi, this tip demonstrates how to use a gait belt to help someone who has trouble getting up or just needs a little support getting up. So first, if someone needs help getting up from a chair, they should use as much upper body strength as possible. Hold on to the gait belt and she can pull and stand up. If you need help walking, then they can walk forward with it. If not, just take the gait belt off and you've assisted her to get up. This is also especially useful if someone is on the toilet seat where they don't have the clothes or jeans wrapped around their body, you can strap on a gait belt and help just with a little assist. Hi, here's today's quick tip on how to help someone walk utilizing a gait belt. So remember first that you are the base of support and the stabilizer when someone is walking. So you stand close to them with a wide stance behind so that you are steady. Hold the gait belt gently, and you can put your hand on her shoulder as well if you need, but you're really just helping to correct minor losses of balance. So remember, that's exactly how to use it. It's for these minor, just to keep someone walking. Do not use it for major losses of balance. If someone is falling, you will pull your back out or your arm out. If you try to catch them by the gait belt, that is not the purpose of it. Watch the next tip on what to do if someone is falling. Hi, so here's your tip on what to do if someone is falling. You do not want to catch them with the gait belt and yank your arm out. What you want to do is, you're already behind them, position your leg and slowly provide a base of support for them to slide down. Get them to the floor gently, and then you want to protect the head. If she falls all the way back, you would want to protect the head. But the big thing is if you try to catch the fall, you're going to hurt yourself and her. So you want to make sure that you're minimizing any injuries by just helping her fall safely. Watch the next video on how to get up from a fall. Hi, this tip is on how to get up from a fall. I'm going to do it if you're in your home alone. How to get up from a fall. If you have a caregiver, the caregiver can assist in this, but this is the correct way to get up. So first you want to get into a crawling position. So you raise your knees, you reach your arm across your body onto the floor, get on both arms, roll your knees over, and push yourself to a crawling position. Crawl to a bed or a chair, something stable, and then you can crawl up to it. Put both hands on there, put one leg up, lean forward, and push yourself up, and then sit and rest. This is something you should practice at home, so if it happens, you know how to get up from a fall. Thank you. So when we went virtually, we put together some of those tips that we had out on our Facebook, on our website and Instagram. We put out little tips and put it together for this. We used to do it in person. But please feel free to like and subscribe to our Facebook and Instagram. So next, again, back brace. I think I've said it just really is going to help you remember not to bend your back because you are not used to wearing it. So next, and then the recliner chair, the lift chair, if you want to play this. So the lift chair is one of the first things I really recommend. If you're going to buy a lift chair, it's an investment. I understand a lot of people, make sure you get one that goes all the way back like this because, well, it keeps going. A lot of people sleep in their recliner. A lot of people will sleep in this. It's so comfortable. It's zero gravity. It's going to be a bed and a chair for a lot of people. So make sure you get the one that can be a bed. But here's where it comes in. If you're starting to get into medium assist level, watch how you can raise it, and you can stop it. If you could stop it right there, you just need that level of help. Do what you can. Don't every time push it all the way to what you don't need. You know, keep the muscles moving of what they need. But you can see that's an easy way. Put a gait belt and they're practically up already. All right. Next is these pull and grab bars. These are excellent for people who have really lost the lower body strength but have a lot of upper body strength. You can buy them and they're like a shower curtain. You don't need to call someone to install it, you just twist it and unscrew, and they're very sturdy until it reaches the ceiling. It'll be up against the ceiling. You can put them anywhere, so it's helpful. Everyone knows it's good to have grab bars in the bathroom, but sometimes there's just not a wall close enough to put a grab bar to where you are. So these you can put anywhere, and then the person, if they have a lot of upper body strength, can pull themselves, and they're adding a lot. I've used these in a lot of homes, and they've really helped a lot of people. Plus, the care recipient wants to be able to do as much as they can do, so they feel good being able to participate more. So I really like these. Next. So for toileting's huge issue. There's a lot of things out there: toilet risers, grab bars, rope lighting, urinal, bedpan, bedside commode. Next, I'm going to go into them. So here they are. Lighting I recommend because the number one time people fall is at night going to the bathroom. So make sure there's a clear path, and you can buy just rope lighting. You can put along the bottom, create a path that's always there. You can also buy on Amazon just little motion center lights that you can stick on and create a path, but make sure it's well lit. That's why I include lighting is at night is the biggest opportunity for fall. Also remember, your doctors are prescribing the medication that makes you groggy at night. So when you wake up, you're groggy, you can't see, that's when you're gonna fall. So for a lot of people, especially when they get home from a skilled nursing facility, I recommend to not even go to the bathroom at first, to use this bedside commode. So you can just get up and just go right there next to you, and then it can be emptied in the morning. I use those a lot of places. If you are going to go to the bathroom, there's the toilet riser. Again, just getting up is a lot of help. See, I like the one with the handles where they can push off. And a handheld urinal also, instead of a bedside commode. So you're just not taking that risk of going to the bathroom at night. I highly recommend, if at all you're at all concerned about a fall, either make sure it is very well lit and you have the proper support to get to the bathroom, or just go in the urinal and bedside commode and deal with it in the morning. Don't take the risk. So the equipment for moving, we're getting into now walkers and wheelchairs, and I'll explain the difference. Because there's a couple different types. Next. So first you have your two-wheel walker, and this is for stability. So the difference with that, you can see there's only two wheels, and it's really for people who are often recovering, coming out of a skilled nursing facility, have fallen and rebuilding their strength. That's when you'll use this, because it's not going to shoot forward. It's going to go a lot slower, and it's someone that really needs more of that stability. If you're someone that has kind of mastered that, or needs to go faster, the mobility is really, that's where the four-wheel walker's in. So it supports you while you're walking around town. You see it has a little basket, but it's going to move a lot quicker. That's why it has handbrakes. Next. So wheelchairs at the house, I usually use a transport wheelchair, because in the homes that we're not set up like hospitals, so the doors are they're not wide enough to put a lot of times a regular wheelchair through. So you can see the lack of wheels on the side. That makes this much narrower. It fits a lot of places. It's a lot lighter. It's easier to navigate. So a lot of times inside a house, we use that. If it's just from the house to the car, we use that. Just around the doctor, that's fine to use. It's very lightweight. It's easier. You can get it on Amazon. That's going to help you manipulate around the house a lot easier. The regular wheelchair, though, if someone is outdoors a lot and can use it, it's great, because then they have control and they're able to push themselves with the wheels. If you're full-time, that's where you get, and Medicare will pay for a regular wheelchair. They'll usually pay for one wheelchair every about 5 years. I would have Medicare pay for the regular wheelchair, and then just buy a transport wheelchair for, That's going to be your least expensive one. Electric wheelchair is often much more expensive, and that's someone that needs that full time. Next. So now we're getting into median to max assist. There's a point where even with that equipment, it's going to be too much. So there is equipment that you can do sit to stand. If someone is to the point where you need to lift 200 pounds, no one should be doing that. So sit to stand is something I like to bring into homes. There's a Hoyer lift. The sit to stand is kind of pre-Hoyer lift in a hospital bed. How to properly use those, utilize that. Next. Okay, so go ahead. Here's a demonstration of the sit to stand. A lot of people don't know these exist, and they're very helpful. And you can do this on the side of a hospital bed. It doesn't need to be in a chair or the side of a bed. They don't have to already be sitting up, but they do need to be able to sit up to do this. That's some core strength, even if you help them sit up. So I use these in several homes also. And the client or, care receiver that's hiring me will say, no, I don't need that. But there's been a couple times I say, we need that. We can't lift you safely. I can't service you as a client unless we get this. And this is, then someone's not staying in bed all day. We're able to lift it with one person. And then often there'll be a wheelchair there. You take them back, set them down in a wheelchair to move them around. This one sling, you have to really lean back like he is, otherwise it will ride up. There's another one that's called a toileting sling that I actually use more because it goes underneath the legs and you're more secure. It pulls you up by there because not everyone leans back all the way. So I like the toileting sling. We use it all the time. So. And yeah, different positions, but okay, next slide. Then the car, getting in and out of the car is often a challenge, especially because the door doesn't open all the way. So this is actually great. This first one, this red one, assistive car handle, it just fits right in where your door lock right there. And it's the perfect height for a handle for a lot of people. That's very helpful. There's also the hanging one. There's often for a lot of places, there's a little handle when you open up your car door, but this actually puts it on the car door or makes the one inside the car. You can put it in there also, put it on that handle and just extend it down. So wherever they need it, you're able to move the handle. Huge help also. The car swivel seat, I think is a great concept. I've had mixed reviews with that because the seats in the cars aren't always flat. It really does kind of depend on your seat, but it is good because they're able to sit back. And if it does work with your seat, it helps to be able to turn and twist and get the feet safely in the car. These are little things that are a huge help. And then hospital electric bed. Now here's some reasons I really also like a hospital electric bed. And again, you're going to get some resistance, which I understand. And a lot of people say, oh, I don't need that. I don't need that. But it's the caregiver that needs it. It's the caregiver. So you may want to, these are times you may want to start looking into it. If your loved one is spending a lot of time in bed, you're liable, you're opening yourself up for pressure sores, or they are. So you want to get the right equipment. This bed is adjustable for better circulation, repositioning. You can reposition so much easier. You can get the right mattress pads on top of this. If you're going to move a bed downstairs because you're no longer walking up and down the stairs, this is one I would think about getting. If they're sleeping in a recliner, like I said, I come across a lot, you know, because of getting in and out of their bed is too difficult, for easier transferring, and again, for easier caregiving. Um, the reasons that it's a hospital bed, I like to call it an electric bed because it's a little more normalization in the home, and we try to stay away from being too medical. And but you go into a hospital, you don't see, if the nurses had to bend down every single time and they kept it low to the floor, their backs would be shot. So the biggest benefit is that the beds can raise to the caregiver's height. So I have difficulty reading this slide the way it is on here. I'm not sure if you can see it well, but you want to set up, thank you, the hospital bed so you can walk fully around the bed. You want to be able to help adjust from the head also. You want to put a draw sheet on the bed, which is just like a blanket, or you can buy them at you can fold up a blanket and use it, but it's a sheet that the person's laying on top of their sheet that you can pull and adjust. So you want the handrails so someone can move over, use the handrails. Big is transferring. So you always want to transfer from high to low. If you're taking someone from their wheelchair and then putting them into bed, you want the bed to be lower than the wheelchair. If your bed's like that, great. But then when you go to take them out, if that bed is lower than the wheelchair, you're not only doing the lifting and transferring, but they got to make sure their bottom is higher. So again, it's just gravity. It's always easier if you're lifting high to low. And what's great about the electric bed is you can adjust it. You can move the bed then that point higher than the wheelchair. So you're moving again from high to low, back and forth. So anytime, always raise it to your height. The hip height is ideal, so you're not twisting or bending your back. And then you can always lower it for them to sleep in case they fall out of bed, but that's why I like the rails. But definitely always lift it. So if you need to pull a person back towards the head of bed, you can lower the bed and then pull, raise the head back up. You can adjust the head and feet, it's really great, especially if the more time you spend in bed, the more time you're prone to pressure sores. So you need to be able to help manipulate the person and move around the bed. So adjust pillows for comfort, prevent bed sores and pressure wounds. Next. Okay. Always keep the head at a 45-degree angle while eating, and for 30 minutes after, to prevent aspiration pneumonia. This is so important. This should be happening with not just a hospital bed, but if you're eating in bed, which is very common, then you need to prop the person up with either one of those wedges you can buy or a bunch of pillows. But aspiration pneumonia is when a piece of food goes down into your lungs instead of into your stomach. It goes down the wrong pipe. And if a little piece of food is stuck in your lungs, bacteria will grow around it, and that is aspiration pneumonia. And for older people, your swallowing muscles just aren't as strong as they were. So often for 30 minutes after, it may have gone down a little bit, but then come back up and then go down the wrong pipe. So that's where keep your windpipe up straight. You don't want food to go down there, and for 30 minutes after. That's something we as caregivers can really prevent. Make sure, and then proper positioning. This is the perfect position if you're going to put someone in the bed, because that kind of puts their hips into the groove there where they're not sliding down. You're using that gravity of then it lifting up. And the heels are also very, very, very sensitive part. So they get pressure sores very easily. This picture doesn't show it, but I would put a pillow underneath like where his ankles are. And so the heels are not touching either the pillow or the bed. Let them suspend. But that's a big big place that people get pressure sores. So you want to keep them off the bed. Next slide. So dignity and normalization. This is someone we cared for that didn't have family. In the area, and we cared for him for 5 years before he passed. He was an excellent client. And he says, what no one talks about is this is not normal life. You have to find a way to turn it into normal life as soon as you can. You all have done that, and that's made an enormous difference. And I'm able to feel that as normal or fairly normal. I want to feel like it's normal. I feel that way very strongly. That's another big talk I give is on dignity and normalization. People want to stay at home because it's normal. They don't want to be in the hospital. They don't want to be in skilled nursing facilities. And we need to make aging in place as normal as possible. So next slide. And we can do that by our language, how we talk about things. We call the bed an electric bed instead of a hospital bed. We get them a comfy mattress. We usually put pillows. Maybe you could see in the background of those videos I showed the quick tips of sheets, blankets. We cover the handrails. The bed does not look at all like a hospital bed. If you're able to cover the handrails with blankets, if someone is really having a hard time getting up, dressing them is if they're in a lot of pain. It's instead of wearing a hospital gown, I see people wearing a hospital gown, which is, not feel great. But the point of it is that it can slip over your head. People can lay in bed. You can still be changing their clothes, take their normal clothes and cut a shirt down or cut it in the back up so you can still hook it over their head and you're still maintaining dignity. It's a big part of what we do. Next. Okay, and this is it. I hope it was helpful. We ran through it kind of quickly, but trying to get through it. And what I've done, because I'm in the home a lot, doing a lot of consultations and recommending a lot of products, is we've compiled all these products from Amazon to www.toolsforaging.com, and I encourage you to check it out. I will continue to add to those. Just trying to really educate people for the most part and know that additional equipment is out there so you can help your loved ones safely without hurting yourself. Thank you.
Much, Erin. That was so helpful. And I know that as a former caregiver, I know that a lot of what you talked about is definitely useful, but there's just so much that's coming out that I didn't even know, even from last year when we did this in person. There are more tools available. So I'm so glad that you mentioned them. I did want to highlight a couple of things that you said that really stuck out for me. You talked about self-care. And we always talk about self-care at Southern Caregiver Resource Center because we focus on the family caregiver. But we always talk about it, I think, from the perspective of mental well-being, right? Mental health, de-stressing, managing the challenges of caregiving. But you talked about it from the physical perspective, right? Staying hydrated, balance, stretching exercises, which often we don't think about. We just kind of go in there and grab the person and let's go, which can be a problem if you hurt yourself and you don't do it properly. So I'm so glad that you mentioned that. I also want to encourage our viewers to make sure that if there are any of these items that you were interested in, that you maybe, like you said, you mentioned Amazon, that you really jot them down and maybe look for them yourself so that you can use them as part of your daily routine in helping the person that you're caring for. You said it's the little things that help, and that is so true. I remember with my great aunt, is who I used to care for. getting in and out of the car was so difficult because of the bucket seats. The cars have changed so much, and I don't think they've changed with caregivers in mind or with elderly in mind, because they have these bucket seats and you sit, and as soon as you sit, you go all the way back. And then how do you get out? And so these tools, the things that you put on the doors and in the jams, and is just helping you just manage those moments. So thank you so much, Erin. At this point, I wanted to open it up for questions, because I know a lot of our viewers, our listeners, have questions that might maybe utilizing your expertise help them answer some of those questions. So if you don't mind, Erin, I'm just going to kind of go down the list here that I have, because, and of course, everyone who's listening, if you want to jot down some of these questions and answers, feel free. Um, so you talked a lot about, kind of the reluctance from the care receiver to acquire and utilize some of these tools that you keep saying it's for the caregiver. And it's for the caregiver so that you're able to help the care receiver. So it's a win-win all around. I think it's just really coming to grips with the reality that this is a tool to help people. So it says here, how do I encourage my loved one, so the person that you're caring for, to help with these mobility exercises or these mobility challenges that you might be facing as a caregiver? How do you encourage that person?
With the exercises in particular, I think a lot what we see is the physical therapy will come out, recommend it, and motivation. Motivation is key. A lot of people aren't doing it, helping themselves. That is something I like about sitting down and doing it with them. Really, a lot of also building it into a normal routine. So every day at 10:15, we're doing these exercises instead of, oh, did you do your exercise today? We really, as the professional caregivers, try to set out a routine, stick to it every day at 10:15. Do the exercises, but motivation is a big part of it. You got to really remember, don't get too frustrated. Try to figure out how to motivate and encourage rather than belittle and give them a hard time for not doing it. We really want to, and that's where I really think the more you can do together, the better. And it's good for you too. It's always muscle memory for when it's your turn.
Absolutely. I have another question here. It says, can you recommend some type of a lift device to get someone off the floor?
There is a lift device. I personally haven't used it in the home because usually in the home, if they're starting to fall more, we need to come up with more solutions. So it's okay to call 911. They will come lift you. A lot of my clients call me. I help. But if it happens, several times, we're really looking to change. So there is one. It's about $2,200. I know they use them in skilled nursing facilities and things to help. I've heard good things about it. There's one on Amazon, but honestly, I'm not overly familiar with using it in the home. If it really is, feel free to call 911. They will come, help pick you up. And if it's happening 3, 4, 5 times, then you really need to look into more permanent solutions of how do we make sure they're not falling.
Yes, that's true. It could be something else that's happening. So you mentioned the price point of this one particular item. And one of the questions that I have here is, what if I cannot afford some of the devices that you're mentioning? What options do caregivers have to acquire these?
So every county, and I know San Diego, we have a lot of medical equipment stores, and a lot of them rent. So I ended up, saying to Amazon because for a lot of the smaller products, you can just buy it. It's delivered. It'll be cheaper on Amazon. But for some of the larger products, definitely you can also rent them from your local store, your local DME store, medical equipment store. And a lot of them will, if you rent them for months, put that charge towards the if you're going to buy it for long term, if you end up buying it. But yeah, several of my clients rent them from local stores.
Oh, that's good to know. And, all of us, and the reason why we're doing this virtually is because of this pandemic that we're all, kind of going through and having to stay at home and do things differently. How do you help clients? How um, are COVID is such a rampant disease right now, and it's really affecting people that are very vulnerable in seniors and maybe people with chronic conditions. So, how does your company address the issue of COVID as they're caring for care receivers?
Yeah, that's a great question. That's definitely throwing a big wrench in everything as we're trying to keep people away from germs. We do realize a lot of times that a lot of our clients aren't getting out. We're coming in. So we take that very seriously. Every time someone clocks in, our caregivers clock in on their phone when they get there. They have to answer a series of questions. They have their thermometer with them. What's your temperature? Have you had any symptoms of COVID? We list the symptoms. Have you been exposed to any? And then if any answers yes, of course, or calls in sick, we've been very proactive of sick leave. We've expanded sick leave. We encourage obviously a lot of education on hand washing as soon as you get in the house, hand washing, hand washing, hand washing. We also are wearing masks at all times. We encourage our clients to wear the mask while they're there. We don't require it, but we do require the caregivers to be wearing masks the entire shift. And since it started surging in San Diego, we are now wearing KN95s at all time. And we have not accepted positive COVID clients out. We're trying to keep the caregiver pool separate. We also keep as few people in the home as possible, which is added to a lot more overtime, but it's all about keeping people safe right now. And sorry, I lost my train of thought. So with the
It
surge,
is challenging.
yeah,
Mhm.
it's very challenging. We have about 25% right now out on sick leave, but we've done a great job managing it. Oh, with the if one of our clients becomes COVID positive, which we haven't had, so I'm very happy. So all those things
Well,
are
that's good to
working. If you're
hear.
nervous about having someone in your home, we get it. We are taking every precaution we can, and not one client has gotten COVID, which I'm very proud of and happy about. But if someone did, we do have all the equipment and we are prepared to take care of our client if that should happen. So
That's wonderful. I'm glad to hear that it's that you're doing all that's necessary to protect the well-being of your staff, but also the clients and of course the families that are entrusting you with their loved ones. That's so important. So I have one last question here, and it seems to be, and maybe you know what this is, but it seems to be a very popular question. What do you think of a pivot disc?
oh, is it a popular? It's good. It's good. Yeah, I should add that in there. I've had good experiences with them. I've gone a lot just how my progression has gone in the home of using the sit to stand once the feet are not able to move, because if people that the pivot, for people who don't know, is so people can put their feet on it and then pivot and move when people are not able to shuffle their feet side to side. A lot of people, that's a big fall hazard. You'll trip over your feet. um, it's good. Again, it's not something a lot of clients have bought one-on-one in their house, but I have seen it more in the skilled nursing facilities. And I recommend I don't have one I recommend over another. But
Okay. Well,
I
Erin, I really appreciate your time and being here. I know that you're really busy, but I really have, you know, worked with you throughout the years, really have enjoyed how much you care about caregivers and families. And we've partnered and supported our clients as well. So I just wanted to say thank you to Erin and Erin Home Care. If any of you are out there listening or watching this and are yourselves a caregiver or know somebody who's a caregiver, please let us know how we can help you. We are available right now doing everything virtually online. You can contact scrc.care. We also have people answering the phones at 858-268-4432. Like Aaron said, we also have a social media presence. So look for us and like us and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. We have a YouTube channel where a lot of this type of information is shared. We have live stream classes, we have tip videos, we have podcasts, and even workshops such as this one will be there as part of our library where you can all share with anyone else who might benefit from this. So at this time, I'd like to conclude. Aaron, again, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for all this great information, and we hope to see you soon.
All right. Thank you. Take care.
Bye. Bye, everyone. Take care.